And welcome back. I'm George Philbeck. This is my talented partner and wife, Jacquie Sosa, and we're here to give you the February report. There's a lot going on. We just had a Fed meeting. We're going to talk about interest rates, projections, and what's coming in the months to come. And it's not always good news, so you want to pay attention to this. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the big graphs. I've got a big board. It's got the graphs that we put together for everybody, and there's a lot of supporting information. The very first thing we're going to look at is the number of homes sold in the month of January. As you can see on the right-hand side, January had 2,081 homes sold. Now, that's not as big a deal as we'd expect. Obviously, we see this slope from really March all the way sliding down from last year, 2023, until here. But take a look at January of 2023. That was lower too at 2,041. We actually had more homes sold this January, which I believe part of is built up supply and demand and pent up demand for new homes. And you'll see in January it drops down as well. So this isn't highly unusual. What I want to do though is I do want to jump over to something that I think you're going to want to see. There's an article that I found that I thought was very, very relevant. So let's take a look at that. So according to Redfin News, more people are touring homes, but that hasn't yet translated into more sales. Here's why. We all want the interest rates to come down. We're going to talk about that in just a couple seconds. But we've got a lot of buyers that are looking. If you're planning on selling, don't wait for the rates to drop. Get in front of the market. I don't think we're going to see our prices go shooting up. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And if you're thinking of selling, you definitely want to take a look at this because it shows something that's a little bit spooky. If you're thinking of buying, the rates are going to come down, but they're probably not going to come down until May. There's a spoiler alert, or June. And at that point, we're already so into the market, you probably had to make that decision ahead of time. Okay, let's keep going because all these questions will be answered as we progress through the graphs and through what's going on in our market. The next thing we're going to talk about is the average sale price graph. Now, if you're looking to the right-hand side, as we always do, you're going to notice that there is a huge drop from 463,000 in December down to $442,121. How did that happen? Why did it drop $20,000 in 1 month? Okay, here's why. Obviously, you notice that the number of sales went down. This is an anomaly. I wouldn't expect that this is going to be something that happens all the time, or we need to really worry about, did the prices really come down in this case, what looks to be 3 or 4% of our value? That's not going to happen. In fact, let's go back to the graph. And historically, we noticed a little tick down in January. I'm currently looking at January 2022. And again, if I look at January in 2023, we do notice that it ticks down a bit. The January 2024, a little bit more of a tick down than we expect. In fact, this has me a little concerned, but remember, everybody is worried about what's going to happen with interest rates because affordability, the last thing we're going to look at, huge, really, really important. That's actually good news. So let's carry on. This article, inflation focus, Fed shoots down Wall Street's hope of a March cut. Truthfully, I was hoping that they would cut it a quarter basis point in their meeting in January 30th and 31st, and they didn't. And they're even forecasting they're going to not cut it in March, which means the next meeting, well, I'll get to that in a minute, that's not a good thing. That means we have to deal with the cards that are dealt with us. If we're thinking of buying or thinking of selling, you've got to look at this market and say, okay, what is my current situation? If they don't cut it in March, we have to wait until May, and I'll show you that in just a couple minutes, and that's when they finally get a cut coming in. We're probably past a little bit of the prime season where you're going to get the best selection if you're buying, and if you're selling, you're really pushing yourself into this tight little area. People that need to buy and sell need to do that with the current market. I would love to see it drop. I expect it will. I was hoping it would drop in January. So far, we've been pretty good. We're going to cover interest rates in a second. Let's take a look at one more thing. So this next graph we're looking at is the days on market. That's how long it takes for a home to go under contract once it gets placed on the market. And it's an indicator of the health of the market. We normally want to see somewhere around 90 to 180 days on market. You'll notice on the left-hand side of this graph, you're going to notice that we were very, very low in our days on market. And we started balancing and correcting, and we'll continue to do so. However, to go from what is the high 30s for the last 6 or 7 months, jumping up to 51, That's a little bit of a concern. You'll notice that we do tick up a little bit in December and January, and sometimes even into February. You'll notice that in 2022, of course, 2023, and we're seeing that duplicate again in 2024. That's all fairly normal, but we want to keep our eye on that. The longer it takes days on market, the longer it's going to take for your home to sell. But what that also shows is the health of the market, where we're a little bit balanced. We were in a seller's market for quite a while. That means the sellers have the decided advantage. It's starting to balance out a bit. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's take a look at interest rates. Again, starting with the right-hand side, the first thing you notice that our interest rates have stayed pretty flat for December and January at 7.08, 7.04. This is a good thing. They are going to be coming down. We know that. That is going to happen. The Fed's indicated they're going to do that. They just didn't say when. I'm still very hopeful for March. I think we have so much debt, credit debt, that we're really going to slow down our inflation in the next couple of months, and the Fed will respond. In fact, here's when their next meetings are. So we had our meeting in January 31st. They held steady at 5.25 to 5.5. Our next one is March 20th. And if they don't lower the rates, we have to wait until the 1st of May for the follow-up meeting. And at that point, we do expect that they will lower their rates by then. I'm hoping for March. That'll give us a very strong season. It'll bring more buyers into play, give us more opportunities. And for a lot of us who are selling our homes, we need to buy too, and we need to have these lower rates. Now, the Fed's numbers do not automatically translate into interest rates, either higher or lower. That is held by the bond market. I still see that the rates are going to continue to go down as we get into February and into March. I know that having the federal interest rates dropped is going to help greatly. So keep your eye on that, but also keep your eye on the rates. Remember, subscribe to this every month. On the half month, I also put out another report, give you an update. Let's go to the next article. Federal rate is on track for cuts, though not likely for months. The Federal Reserve delivered that message Wednesday, first in a policy statement and then the news conference in which Chairman Powell reinforced it. The Fed did signal it's nearing a long-awaited shift towards cutting rates, evidence that its officials have grown confident that they're getting closer to fully taming inflation. No longer does the policy statement say it's considering future rate hikes. Further on down, yet the officials made it clear the first rate cut is likely months away. I don't always take what everybody says at face value. I still want to hope, I think that there's support for this, that I think we can see a rate cut in March. We don't know, don't plan on it, but let's keep our eye out. I was pretty good on predicting the fact that the rates would eventually come down when everybody was saying, no, they're going to go up to 9 and 10. Baloney. We're going to get below 6.5 very soon. In fact, I just showed you that. I'm going to show you again. The 30-year fixed is at 7.04. The FHA is at 6.6. And the VA is at 6.6 as well. Well, here's something fun. I love doing this. Okay, pay attention to this. So don't mind my mouse, but let's say we change it from 20% to 10%. All of a sudden, our 30-year dropped, and so did our FHA. The reason I show you this is I want you to talk to your preferred mortgage lender and say, what are my options? Do I put less down? Do I put more down? Know what you're going to be doing. Your knowledge is the most important vehicle you have. If you have any questions, give myself or Jacquie a call. We're here to help. We have some phenomenal lending partners who are incredibly aggressive at getting the best rates possible. We can also help you with good insurance for your house too, because that's a big deal. In fact, that's the article, or that's the video I'm going to put at the end. It's about insurance. Take a look at that one because you want to know what to do to improve your insurance costs. It's a big expense in Florida. Let's move on. What you're looking at now is the affordability graph. And what I want you to pay close attention to is the 50% line. That means that it costs more than 50% of your gross income if you're making $100,000. What I did for this so that we have an average and we've got something that's consistent is it's $100,000 income. I'm not including any other debt that you have. It's simply a matter of principal, interest, tax, and insurance based on averages in the Central Florida area. And I've used all 9 counties actually for this, but I focused on the top 4, Lake, Orange, Osceola, and Seminole County, so that we really have a good picture of what the whole market looks like. And it's consistent on the whole thing. Take a look at the right-hand side. You'll notice that February of 2023, we were almost at 50% and then we went above it. Anything above 50% is not affordable. If you're making $100,000, you cannot afford a house. You won't be able to get a mortgage because you have more than 50% debt to income ratio. And that doesn't include car loans, student loans, really anything that's outstanding for more than 11 months. Again, talk to your lending partner. They will be able to give you the good information. Let's go back to the graph. Now, what you'll notice as well, starting in October, where we're at a high of 58%, almost 59%, is we've started ticking down. We were at 54% in November. In December, we're at 52%. We're at 50%. And part of that's coupled by the fact that our prices went down. And when we get our mortgage rates lower, now, again, the rates that I showed you were the national averages. They weren't adjusted, and you didn't have a good mortgage lender working on massaging them for you. You can get better rates. But it shows right now, if we're looking at this graph, it shows that we're in a place where we're not as affordable as we need to be, but we're getting there. Now, here's my forecast. I don't see our prices shooting up. I don't see us gaining 10%, 15% like we have in the past year, really the past couple of years. I think we'll see a modest return of 3 to 4% increase over this year. I think our interest rates are going to come down. There's a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers out there, so time your market well. Set up your team to work with you if buying and selling is something that's going to happen for you this year. I expect the rates to come down, but don't hold on to it. Every single person out there is saying that we're not going to see a cut in March. I'm thinking we are. They're thinking that it'll be in May. Okay, that's terrific, but that leaves you with very little of the buying season left. Jackie and I are here to help. If you have any questions on this, again, I want you to watch this next video. It's on how to get your insurance in a better position where that's not going to cost you a lot. You need this information. We're your resources. Most importantly, be safe. God bless you. Hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you on the 15th of February for the mid-month report. So make sure you subscribe so it shows up in your inbox. Have a great day. Bye now.